It's Thursday, April 19th. I hope you filed your taxes because I surely did. And we know who filed their taxes, the entire cast of ABC's Scandal, because we are recapping the final episode of Scandal here on the Scandal Recap. Over a cliff. This is it, everybody. We made
Oh
it to
gosh.
the end. Can you believe it? Welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host, Larry Brown Jr. Gosh, when will we say this again today? I'm your host, Larry Brown Jr., joined by my
Oh,
fantastic co-host, the Janiyah Wright. Janiyah, good evening. We have no lower thirds. We thought Google would be up and running, but they're not. But it's all good because we are here with our fantastic folks in the live chat, and it is popping tonight.
LBJ, I am doing really well. And I have to just say, I am feeling so many things. Okay. I'm sad that the show has ended and therefore the Scandal recap has ended. I'm disappointed because I didn't have the emotional engagement that I expected to have in tonight's episode. But more than all of that, I am amped up because of the chat, LBJ. People, the chat is up, running,
No, like
flowing,
seriously, like
LBJ.
I don't think you understand. Like we have like right now, we have some of our highest numbers live in real time at the top of the
Yay!
show ever. There are names that we've never even seen with us before. So
Yay! We gotta
this is
call them out.
everyone. This is everyone who's been watching in the after show who leaves
Yes.
comments. Everyone who says everything. You are my lovers of liberty. You are my liberty lovers who we heard tonight. You are who we do this for, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Lakeisha sings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You've not been
Yay!
here live, but you're here for the last show live. Like my cousin Love Prince Nelson is here. Linda Gadsden. EJ Dexter. What's up, EJ Dexter? We have Angel HC11, Normina's Harmony, Charlene McKinney, Vinyl Poet Classics, Leander Coker,
Yes,
Evan
yes.
Wright, Tall Delta 55, my mama, Rakira, Marvis 2 Marvis, Stanley Johnson,
Oh,
Sierra Bartlett.
whole
We have
family.
Miss L, Deborah Battle is here. Janiyah, of course, you're here. Who else? Who Mrs. Creel Daniel
LBJ,
said that a coastal will
did you
go.
did you say Grace, LBJ? Did you get Grace?
I
Oh
forgot
my
Grace
gosh.
and Diane Jones,
I dot
Matthew
Matrix. Are
Miles.
you kidding?
I know Matrix. Welcome back live.
vinyl
Inkwell.
vinyl poet classics lion. Love it. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
Lacey Rideout. Oh, of course, Stanley Johnson, LBJ.
Listen. Kevin thought I was halfway crying like some of you. The show really didn't make me cry. We're all black just in case I needed to go to a funeral. And no, we need to attend the funeral. But I think this is the part that's going to really make me sad. It's really engaging with all of you every Thursday night. Of course, we take our breaks
Yes.
in the summer when the show was
Oh,
when the show was on hiatus. But we have enjoyed engaging with all of you. I didn't even prepare any final remarks tonight. But let's just jump into this and talk about the show, and we'll do all the sappy stuff at the very, very end. Some of y'all are already crying right now. I see in the chat. Tears are starting to
I
flow.
know.
Don't
Oh
you
my
do it? You
gosh.
better hold on until the very end.
We can't make it, LBJ. We can't.
Oh,
Char 90303. Come on. Oh
Beelan
my
Smith, what's up? Beelan Smith, Dan Blakemore is here.
C11. Oh,
Talis Ferry is here.
EJ
Tashelle,
Dexter. What?
Westy 221 Rose. Listen, we are shouting all of you tonight. Zena
Alisa
Brown. Zena, are
Anava.
we related? Hey, Zena, how are you? Are we related?
Dan
Satsuki
Blakemore.
Satsuki Sama
Yay.
6 is here. Thank you so much,
Oh my
Leander
gosh.
Coker. Listen, everybody
The
is
West
here.
Coast is in the house, LBJ. Seriously, Balin Smith, this is too good. This is too
This
good,
is what
LBJ.
we're here. We're here.
Okay, we're gonna go out with a
Oh
bang.
my
That's
gosh!
what
So
we're
I know
gonna do.
Magic says I came back for the song you and Janiyah promised me. Remind us of what the song is. I promise you will get a song.
We will sing something.
Yes, Coffee Light and Sweet just joined us. Let's get in this chat, y'all. Okay, here we go.
Let's do it. Let's
So
do
we
it.
start
Let's
the
do it.
episode. Lonnie Mingen invites Olivia to meet in some dark, dank, wet loading dock in
Warehouse.
Somerville,
Yeah.
DC. And he's there and
Hmm.
he's like, listen, I can get you a hearing. I can get you all of this stuff. Just make sure gun control gets to the top of the agenda and we get some policy on gun control. Olivia's like, okay, but how are you going to get this? How are you going to do this? She's like, just don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. I'm going to do it. And then all of a sudden he's like, do you want to do it? She's like, yes. He's like, okay, fine, do it. And she's like, what, Lonnie? And he's like, what's the gun? What are you going to do with that? I'm getting you your hearing. Boom! And he shoots himself. He kills himself. Lonnie commits suicide. On starts cue Final episode of Scandal.
LBJ, I knew he was about to kill himself. Did you see that coming?
I totally saw it coming. You know how I saw it coming?
It was
So I kind of
obvious.
put two and two together. Remember when we saw Olivia do the with the lip quiver when she heard that gunshot? She had that brown jacket on. I'm like, okay, he's either going to commit suicide or there's a 613er somewhere waiting, like pop, and then like the whole thing. We're not going to get the hearing, but we knew we were going to get the hearing because we saw it in the previews that we saw this whole testimony and stuff going down. Right. Dan said, I thought they might have been in the bowels of the. Yes, come on. We need to take out every piece of the lexicon in this episode of the Scandal Recap, okay? Because, yes, they were in the bowels of the justice system. Janiyah, after this man committed suicide.
But LBJ, Charlene McKinney said, damn, Lonnie, damn. That's how I felt too, LBJ, because listen, Lonnie was not around long. And he was no friend of ours. He was not doing right by us. But we could understand him because he had the exact same mission as every other character that we love and hate on this show. And it is the Republic. You know, at the end of the day, every single scandalous thing that Lonnie was doing, LBJ, it was because he was passionate about making America better, making the world better. He was passionate about gun control.
You can say it. He was passionate about making America great.
I said better, okay? Very intentionally. LBJ, so our hearts go out to Lonnie. You know, I gotta say, I feel like he was a kindred spirit with all the rest of the bad good guys, I gotta say. Anyway, and then
I agree. And then we cut to the Liberty Report.
Your favorite narrator.
Yes,
my favorite
narrator. Oh my God. You know I love a Sally Langston narration from the desk.
She changed it up tonight, LBJ.
She did. I was like, what is this from? Who is getting shouted out this week? Last week, as most of you pointed out in the live chat, you saw this, what we like to consider our shout out here to Scandal Recap, with the repetition of the LBJ mentioned last week. They could have picked any other president, but they picked LBJ, and they said it more than once, like Janiyah. They were throwing it hither and thither. So thank you, Shonda. We love you. And then we cut to the Liberty Report, and we don't hear lovers of liberty. We hear liberty lovers. I said, oh, we're changing it up for the last episode. Okay, Sally, we see you. We hear you, Sally. We hear you. You're dropping.
Trying to keep them guessing.
And she said, fear no more, liberty lovers. Mommy's calling the exterminator. It's killing time. I'm like, oh, they're about to start blowing heads off this episode. Who is going down is what I was thinking. How about you?
LBJ, you know, of course, I'm let me tell you, before the episode even came on, I was like on the edge of my seat because I knew that Shonda was going to be throwing us all kinds of symbols in depth. And so I was ready. And so when she did that little switch up of her key phrase, when she said liberty lovers instead of lovers of liberty, LBJ, I started putting all this deep meaning into it. Like, well, the world has changed. Nothing will ever be the same again. You know, to me, if we look at that character as a narrator, which we've qualified her in this way many, many times on the Scandal Recap, LBJ, what was she doing? She was shaking it up. If there's one thing we know from her is that she opens up her shows with lovers of liberty. And LBJ, she changed it up. I felt like it was Shonda sending us a message. Listen, change gonna come. And guess what? It came. It's here today. I loved it. I probably was doing too much, but I read way into it, LBJ.
Listen, that was way deep. That was way
necessary.
Way
deep. Right. Yeah.
But let me say this. I also have to say that that whole Liberty Report, it kind of threw me because I was anticipating that to be the foreshadowing for the episode, but it turned out not to be the foreshadowing for the episode. So let's cut to a couple of things to me. Yeah. Which got us to the foreshadowing of the episode, and after we see the Liberty Report, we cut to Cyrus and Jake in the meeting, and Cyrus is like, "We need kill folders on every member of that council." Cyrus essentially is trying to run point like he's B613 command. Cyrus, sit down. You are messy. You are not the one. You are messing up like something crazy right now. Sorry guys, I'm a little congested too, so pardon the nasal sound tonight. All of this to say, Jake essentially is under the control of Cyrus. I'm like, oh, Jake, we called you second fiddle, Jake. We called you weak, Jake. We called you all of these things the last 2 weeks of our scandal recap. And here you are again, subscribing to the same type of behavior.
Yeah.
Then we go to a conversation of Olivia and Rowan
But
sitting
LBJ,
on the.
really quickly, we have to highlight what Cyrus asked Jake to do. That's
Yes,
very
yes.
important.
Sorry, yes.
So in that conversation, Cyrus asks Jake, again, when he's just still trying to be the boss of everybody, he asks Jake to kill David Rosen. He feels like taking out David Rosen is going to be the only way to turn that Senate hearing in his favor. Okay, go ahead, LBJ.
So we cut out of the conversation with David Rosen and
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus, and we cut to Olivia and Rowan having a conversation on the tidal basin at Washington D.C. with the Washington Monument between them, and they're having this conversation. And Rowan's like, "Listen, I've got an offshore bank account I'm going to give you access to. I've got a house in Alexandria you can have the key to. I'm putting your name. I'm giving you the deed to my home. Boo, I'm out of here. I can't do this
I'm
anymore. It's
leaving.
all yours.
I'm
I'm
leaving.
leaving, Olivia. I'm leaving." And she's like, "What do you mean you're leaving? What? How could you leave? How could you do something like this? How would you?" He's like, "How could you do something like this? How do you think I feel?" And then he goes off into his baby boomer monologue. And I love a Rowan Pope baby boomer monologue because they're the folks who remember when, because their parents lived that life and they saw their parents live that life, and they were recipients of like the change that was taking place in the civil rights movement,
Yep.
as well as the recipients of the tradition of storytelling being passed to the generation. So to him, he's like, "You still working for that white man? White man, you working for massa? How do you think I feel watching my daughter march herself into slavery, trying to run the republic for the white man, while marching up in the massa's big house, doing all this work for massa?" And Olivia Pope was like, "Ho ho 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 ho, Daddy. I'm a Gen Xer, and I'm gonna talk back to you. And Dad, you're calling me the enslaved one. You were doing the same thing." And he's like, "You thought I was doing the same thing, Olivia? I was not doing the same thing. I was running it, and they thought they were running it. So I had all the power. You still have no power, and you need to get like me, baby girl." And he's like, "Listen, I can't watch you continue to march in and handling massive problems." He
Yeah.
said, "You are in the light so that they can stand in the dark at this point. They're going to tell you, oh, how pretty you are, how beautiful you are. You look so good. You did so well. We just love you. Everyone will," and Olivia says, "Everyone will be equal when this is over, Dad. Everyone will be better for it." He said, "If you think so, you better think twice about that." And I'm like, "Oh, foreshadowing. Somebody's about to die. Somebody of note is about to die."
LBJ, I had so many feelings this episode. This was one of those moments where I wished that we did our recap a week after the show, because
Oh,
I
yes,
feel like
yes,
I
yes.
feel like I could really spend some time dissecting that scene. And I have to call out your mom, Tall Delta 55 said, "Rowan, preach that thing." It's so good because he did, because he was telling her off, LBJ. But what was so crazy was that he was such a hypocrite. Okay. I mean, it was just so crazy how Olivia was there throwing the values that he had been shoving down her throat her entire life. She was throwing those values back at him, and he decided just to completely disagree with her interpretation. Well, all the while, LBJ, she truly is the person that he made her out to be. And so the very fact that she has faith in humanity, faith in the Republic, LBJ, in many ways, it's because her father, her entire life, was telling her that the Republic was the only thing that was important. And so while he is trying to be a puppet master for the Republic, there she is putting it on this pedestal as something that needs to be revered and protected. And he's grooming her to think of it in that way. And meanwhile, he just wants to be the puppet master and take care of it and wield his power, LBJ. And I thought it was so interesting. So interesting. And actually, I'm going to put a pin in this. I'm going to say a little something and we're going to come back to it. But the way that he talked about the fact that his power stayed with him as long as he stayed in the dark, and that it was the fact that Olivia was out in the light that was actually taking her power away. That was actually the reason that she would never actually have the power, LBJ. We're going to have to come back to that. But that very strong slavery imagery, talking about shackles, LBJ, talking about his daughter smiling as the shackles are being put on her wrist, and she's doing what Massa wants. LBJ, there's so much to unpack in this scene. Okay. And even the chat is talking about it, LBJ. The scene was deep.
Yes, we want to know what you think about that scene with Rowan and Olivia on the tidal basin in Washington, D.C. Tell us what you think in the chat. We will go back and take a few steps back to read your comments because we know that there's a delay while you're watching live. In the meantime, we have to say, how did you know, Janiyah, that the cast snuck into Washington, D.C.? And they filmed some of the scenes in the last 2 episodes, in the last 2 or 3 episodes in DC, real covertly without anyone knowing. And now they're all starting to like release the photographs. We talked about this before, but they are still releasing photographs of all these different moments that they shared together in DC. I love it. I'm thinking that they probably filmed it early one Saturday morning and early one Sunday morning without telling anyone, because that's the only time you're gonna be able to get less traffic and like
so
really,
true.
like have like a protected environment in DC. Because I drive around downtown DC every single day on the National Mall pretty early in the morning with the sun in the way that they shot it in that natural light. So, and I will say that traffic is heavy enough where I would see Kerry Washington walking down the street in a white coat or walking past the National Museum of African American History and Culture, because I pass that after Candace goes to work and then I head to the office. So I see that. And I totally would have seen, and y'all would have totally seen me walking in the background looking like very extra, like, LBJ made it an episode. I would have totally parked the car illegally, pulled over, and walked in the middle of the scene like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. And I would have been showing you photographs today. Like I swore to them I wasn't going to show these photos, and here are the photos. But they had to tape that early one Saturday and Sunday morning.
I agree with you, LBJ. I agree with you because that is the only time that those streets are quiet, and they had to do it while it was a little nippy outside. Okay, because that is the only time that those streets are quiet, LBJ. An early Saturday morning, or early Sunday morning. LBJ, the other thing about that scene, somebody in the chat was just calling out one of the iconic things that happened on that very spot, LBJ. Did you see it? Oh gosh, it flew away. I didn't catch it.
Oh no. What happened? Who said it?
Someone made a reference to a very iconic statement that was born on that bench. And I found it, LBJ. Vinyl Poet Classics Lion said, ha ha ha. Did you guys remember the place where Liv and Rowan met was the same place Liv met with Amanda when the iconic line, "It's handled."
Oh, on the bench. Yes, you're right.
It's handled.
You're right. Episode 1, season 1. Absolutely.
Thank you, Vinyl Poet Classics Lion. Because LBJ, I knew I would miss them all. I know this episode was just.
This is why we love you, and this is why we're going to miss you.
You have to watch the show.
The details that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
They've been delivering. This is amazing. All right. So after Rowan and Olivia had this whole moment on the tidal basin, on the bench in downtown DC on the National Mall, we cut to oh gosh, there's the wedding, right? We cut
LBJ,
before the wedding. Go ahead.
The next scene was Melly and Marcus.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And so everyone who knows from the last episode, and I'll just put this nugget out there really quickly to remind people where we left things at the last episode. Where we left things at the last episode was that QPA and everyone that had been in cahoots with B613, they had decided to come forward, LBJ. Last episode, Olivia had decided that the only way to really truly support the Republic was to take B613 out and give the government back to the people. And so she marches.
We could do that, Lord.
She marches up to the world and she's telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth about B613. And then the QPA, they're not able to find any evidence, LBJ. And so the only thing they have is testimony, LBJ. That's all they have. And so all the members of QPA, every single one, and then also not just QPA, both of the president grants, okay? Everybody's in, okay? And at the end of the last episode, they all said, you know what? we are just going to come clean about our association with B613 and let the chips fall where they may, meaning fall us right on into prison. And so, LBJ, tonight, that next scene right after there was we're seeing the media picking up on all of this. We're seeing the news outside of the Senate hearing. It's happening. It's happening. We see Melly and Marcus then. You know, apparently Melly has invited Marcus over. Okay. And she's sitting there, LBJ, looking at her portrait that is about to be posted up. And it's a beautiful painting, LBJ, of her looking very, you know, I'm the president and look at me, I'm so special, I'm the first woman. Amazing, beautiful photo. And she's looking at it, LBJ, with nothing but sadness and pity and resentment. And she says, you know what? This picture, it was supposed to be, you know, marking the beauty and strength of my legacy. I'm paraphrasing. She said, but I'm now going to be impeached. And that's all anyone will ever see when they look at a photo of me. And she says, I can't believe I've been spending all this time, LBJ. She says, I can't believe I've been living in fear of doing what? Being by your side. LBJ, she embraces Marcus, okay? And there they are, LBJ, her basically saying, here I am counting down my last moments of freedom, and I want to spend it with you.
And
LBJ, is that love?
in that scene, Janiyah, come on and go there. I know you may not want to because somebody had the feeling, had the nectar factor potentially about to flow again tonight with Marcus. And she said to Marcus, she said, Marcus, and Marcus moves in and he grabs her by the elbows and he just goes in for the kiss. I'm like, she loves him. She loves him.
Oh my gosh.
Sleep at that moment, so I wasn't screaming. But Melly loves Marcus. We know that Melly loves Marcus in that time, in that space. If you deny it, you are a Melly and Marcus hater.
Well, LBJ, let the record show that I am a Melly and Marcus hater because LBJ,
even in the last episode, terrible.
This is look. I want to tell you, I have popcorn tonight. And then
what that is that like is that a mimosa or is that like Gatorade?
This is my version of what is the Scandal wine? Bougie, what is it?
Jubilee.
LBJ, I don't have any red liquids in the house. So I didn't have anything. This is grapefruit pop. Is
that squirt? Is that squirt?
No, it's something I got at the bodega. I can't even pronounce the name of it, LBJ. It's
Can
not
y'all hear
English.
how Janiyah is representing all kinds of regions? So she said this is grapefruit pop. So if you all don't know what pop is, soda. You say pop. I'm from Detroit. Janiyah's from Pittsburgh, but she lives in New York, and so she went to a bodega. The corner store is what we call it in the Midwest. The 7-Eleven, but she calls it the bodega because she's in New York. Listen.
LBJ, do you see? I'm every woman, LBJ. Do you see?
And I have I'm all these kind of nectar hot toddy in this joint. Because I'm feeling under the weather, and it's in a cup that we got from Chicago on Broadway back when Brandy was in it. So, you know,
well, I will tell you,
to everyone.
I will tell you this, LBJ. My hateration was made true when I spilled some of my good grapefruit pop during that Melly and Marcus scene.
Because you wanted Marcus to love you.
Listen, we don't have time to dig into what it might have been.
You wanted Marcus to take you and take your nectar tree and plug that spigot in and tap that nectar, didn't you? Admit it.
I'm just gonna tell you, I laughed to myself and I was like, I cannot wait to tell the chat that this scene stunned me into spilling my pop. So that's all we have to say about that scene. All right, so the next scene.
Normina's Harmony said Janiyah is still bitter. Yes, Normina, Janiyah is still bitter. I also sent you an invite, Normina's Harmony. So check your email to see if you see an invite from me. And Vinyl Poet Classics, Henry, I sent you an invite as well.
Yay, LBJ. And then the next scene that we see is QPA. And there was something that happened in this scene that I love so much. You already know what it was, LBJ. Anybody who knows. So LBJ, this is the table. All of the gladiators are sitting around the table because LBJ, this is it. The Senate, hearing is happening. They're about to go give testimony, and they're sitting there like, oh my gosh, we're not taking back our decision. We're still very committed to marching over a cliff, like the name of the episode, marching over a cliff. But we're now thinking about our last moments, LBJ. And there is Olivia standing at the head of the table, trying to just, really continue to rally the troops. And Quinn said, "Shut up."
That was so good. That was so good.
LBJ.
Wait, do shut up. Do shut up, but I want to do Olivia.
LBJ, it took until the last episode of Scandal, but tonight I was a fan of Quinn.
Yeah!
I gotta be honest. I know. Okay.
Hey, real applause for Janiyah. She is a Quinn Robin Lindsay fan. We finally got her on our side, folks. For the very last, Janiyah, I didn't even think about that because I thought you were like going to the B617 side, like you were on the bootleg side, you were on the real side. Janiyah, please explain.
LBJ, because you know what? There has been many a moment where somebody has needed to tell Olivia to shut up. Okay? Many a time, LBJ, we have been sitting here as viewers of this show saying, Olivia, high on her own supply, shut up. And finally, LBJ, somebody said it, and we know, and it was Quinn. And so, fine, Idon Matrix. You and Idon Matrix have just been on this whole Quinn thing all along. And so, fine. Tonight on the last episode, I will give you some kudos. Perhaps Quinn has some value. Okay? So, they're all there mourning LBJ. She's trying to do her, pep talk, and nobody wants to hear from Olivia. And what are they talking about? David Rosen's there as well, of course. And Gabby Red is like, I'm going to be in jail. You're not going to wait for me. And then Quinn is like, oh, Charlie doesn't even know I'm doing this. And I have a daughter and I'm doing this. So it wasn't a regretful conversation. It was a mourning conversation, LBJ. And then we go to the Senate hearing, LBJ, and the witnesses start to talk. Now, LBJ, there were some surprises in that witness list.
Yeah. There were
Can we go there, please?
Along with all the gladiators that we saw in the Senate hearing, we saw Melly. Did Melly testify? Yeah, Melly testified. Melly testified. Olivia, Fitz. We saw Quinn Robin Lindsay. We also saw not Charlie, but we saw Huck. And we did not see Jake, but who else did we see? We saw Uncle Daddy Hollis Doyle. Yes, Uncle Daddy was there.
And Marvis says, I was happy to see Tom.
It was so good. And Tom, yes.
Where did he come from?
B School Brian. We called him B School Brian because we forgot his name when we first met him.
No, LBJ, B School Brian was Cyrus's ex-husband.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. No, Tom. Yes.
That was Tom the Goon, LBJ.
Tom the Goon. Sorry. Tom, I'm thinking Cyrus's bedfellow. Sorry. Remember we had that whole awkward moment with Tom and Cyrus. So it's just like, really, y'all are smashing? Like, how did that happen?
It was so #unexpected.
Dan, we got you. No, fact checker Freddie. Nope, we got you. No need. We've been corrected. Thanks so much. This time, yes, I stand corrected in the last episode. Yes.
And LBJ, this is one of these moments where I am relying on our psychic connection, LBJ, because there was a Scandal jam session during that scene, and I did not get it.
So that was the first one. That was the first jam session, and I was so full. I tweeted. I said, I am not talking about jam sessions tonight because I am wrapped up in this episode. So listen. Janiyah and I, this is the first mention of this, and Dan and I think Normina's Harmony and one other of you, maybe Idon Matrix, someone decided that you all want us to do one last round of this thing, okay? So this is our first time mentioning this in this conversation. But this Sunday, we're pitching it for 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, okay? We're going to do the Scandal recap, and it's not a typo. It's intentional, all right? And we're going to talk about jam sessions. We're going to talk about characterizations and the legacy of this show. Join us this Sunday. We will talk about the jam session song. But yes, there was a song there, and I cannot remember the song.
Does anybody know what it was? Can somebody please remember? It was the very first Scandal jam session of the night. And I had the nerve, LBJ, to write down jam session. And did not write down the name of the song. There were 4 jam
sessions tonight. I have the 4 jam sessions listed. I'm just not going back in my notes to go and find the actual. But it was the upbeat one, and I can't call it right now, but it's the upbeat song. The Motown beat, all that stuff.
So
Tashelle is saying, LBJ and Janiyah, Tashelle, what's going on? Are you okay? Tashelle, please let us know. that you're okay. Your name is like T'Challa. People of Wakanda, we have come to the end. All right, I had to throw that in there. Y'all, I know y'all like that.
And so then LBJ, everybody is basically like really giving it out there real and raw. And it's so funny because they really are doing it like a montage. Okay.
Yep.
And so because it's a montage, you're not hearing the full testimonies. They're lowering the music for just the beat so you can hear just a nugget of what's being said.
Speaking of music, thank you, Miss L. It's Ain't That Peculiar. Ain't that peculiar. Thank you. Ain't that peculiar. That's my Detroit showing y'all. Motown. Hey. I didn't go to Motown reviews. I'm a millennial, but my mother did. And all of them did. So I know about them.
Yay! And so thank you so much. That's why we got to watch this show together. And so LBJ, you just getting little nuggets. And my favorite one of the little nuggets was when they said to Huck, how many people have you killed for B613?
I know.
Huck was like, he like took a sip of water. He paused. LBJ, I thought for sure he was going to say a number.
And you know what I was hoping the number was going to be? 752, 752, 752, 752. But wait, my favorite moment of the testimonies, guys, was when Uncle Daddy Hollis Doyle gets up and he said, everyone's answering all these questions. Gabby, Abby, Red, Huck, they're all answering questions. He said, I'll plead the fifth. I'll plead the fifth. I'll plead the fifth, the fourth, the third, the seventh, eighth, ninth, and the 10th. Call my lawyer. I'm going to Gettysburg on D and 8th. I said, well, we know where Gettysburg is located. And so I actually took the liberty to look up Gettysburg while we were in show. And wait, listen. I took the liberty looking up Gettysburg. Did you know that, Janiyah?
LBJ, I'm not surprised. You're very thorough. You're very thorough.
And if I was that thorough, I would have had the entire link on standby so you all can see where Gettysburg is located. I'm going to show you real quick. So Gettysburg actually... So here it is. Gettysburg is located in D.C. on, he called it D and 8th Street, okay? Mm-hmm. D and 8th Street is where Hollis Doyle said Gettysburg is located. Let me show you.
Which would have to be northwest.
Of course it's located northwest.
Everything is northwest.
Let me show you where Gettysburg is located now. Gettysburg is located in northwest, yes, but look what they did. They actually made Gettysburg be an entire permanently closed deli, the 8th Street Deli in DC. How funny is that? So
they had to do it.
What'd you say?
They had to do it because if they had given an address of a real place, LBJ,
we would have been there tomorrow. I would have been there tomorrow, like first thing in the morning, like,
hello,
Recap fam. Look, I'm here at Gettysburg. I would have been showing you out. And let me tell you this. There's also, they've given the address, they've given the cross streets of OPA before on Scandal. And it's actually a parking garage in DC. It's located on K Street. It's K and something else, but it's actually the parking garage of the Autism Speaks headquarters. And their garage has an address, and then the Autism Speaks headquarters has an address next door, but it's the garage next door to Autism Speaks. So if you're ever in DC, go past that address. That's actually the address of OPA.
LBJ,
Random DC fact.
You got mad factoids, yo. You got mad factoids. LBJ, I gotta call out a few of the comments in the chat about Hollis.
We must.
And now I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I was not expecting to see Hollis Doyle ever again. Okay. I was surprised to see him tonight. But again, I'm watching the show. I'm looking for Shonda to send us signals. In LBJ, we are watching Hollis Doyle in this moment admit he is wrong and still be quite sure that he's going to be free at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was just Shonda showing us just that spectrum of that kind of privilege that Hollis Doyle has always represented in the show. And we know what else Hollis Doyle has always represented in this show. We don't have to get into details. Sierra Bartlett said, my favorite was Hollis Doyle. He gave them nothing but jokes and called my lawyer. Kevin Wright said, Hollis was a trip. Shocked Verna didn't show up from the dead. LOL. Now, see, that would have been too much if we then had a ghost, And I
would have tapped out. If we saw Verna, I would have tapped out.
And Candace Brown said, love seeing Hollis tonight. I always enjoy him. LOL. He is a trip. But then Rakira's like, why was Hollis there? And
listen, he was there for the same reason Tom was there. It's the Cyrus connection. They were going for Cyrus. They
Mm.
were going for Cyrus, guys, and they will pull. Listen, they didn't have husband-wife privilege. You know, you can't testify against your spouse in a court of law like that. So they weren't married to him, but they were bedfellows.
Yeah.
Somebody told on Cyrus.
Yeah,
Somebody said Cyrus was laying it low and spreading it wide.
Oh, guys, this is okay.
It's
Anyway,
the last show. All bets are off now. Let's do this.
I don't even have time to get into what I want to say about the Braxton family values. We don't even have time for that.
As Evelyn Braxton would say, "How about that? For God's sake!" With all that air going through her dentures. For God's sake,
spreading it wide.
Laying it low and spread it wide. Braxton, you laid it low.
So good. And LBJ, the next scene, there was another Scandal Jam session. And this scene, I'm not gonna lie at all. Again,
because you were about to cry.
Again, it's like, why? I think is it this grapefruit soda? Is there some alcohol in here? Because why am I liking Quinn? So then the next scene that we see, LBJ, that it is Quinn is able to see Charlie. Okay, David Rosen hooks them up. Okay, and Quinn is able to see Charlie. Huck is there, Abby Red is there, Olivia's there, and they actually get married. Huck officiates. He got ordained online. Huck officiates.
Yes, I thought the same thing. Yes.
And then the song that was playing was "For Once in My Life," LBJ.
Yeah, by Stevie Wonder. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me, someone I've needed so long. For once unafraid, I can go where life leads me. Somehow I know one thing. Oh, once I'm so sick I can't hit the note, but y'all know where I'm trying to go.
Oh, you hit it, LBJ. That was very
good. Okay, sorry.
That was very good, LBJ. We didn't hear that nary a bit of Flynn.
Open up the vocals.
That was very good.
Sorry.
And then LBJ, Lakeisha Singh says, "LOL at Mrs. Creole. Charlie's name was horrible." Yes, it was, LBJ. His real name was revealed tonight.
Oh,
okay?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Mrs. Creole Davis said it. LOL, Charlie is Bernard. LBJ,
not
his
just
name.
Bernard. No. Not just
his
Bernard.
Name,
Bernard Geske. She said, "Your name is Bernard?"
Bernard Gusky. And the other thing was, LBJ, she didn't miss a beat. She always knew she didn't know his real name.
Yep.
She was like, "Oh, your name is Bernard? Okay." This is Scandal Life. Okay, this is B613. But I thought it was
doo-doo.
Who is it?
We've been fact checked in the live chat. Fact checker Freddie once again reporting live. Fenton Glockland is Uncle Daddy, not Hollis Doyle. Yes, Larry and Jai. Thank you, Dan Blake Moore, for checking us. Boop, checked.
Oh, LBJ, that's one of the last times we'll be fact checked when we say something whack.
I know. If only in real life we had fact checkers or people in the news and like the radio who like say random stuff that they think that they're reporting because some producer gave them a blog post to read and they don't even know who they're talking about. Sorry. Side note.
Well, LBJ, do you see how Shonda has us really talking about these deep issues?
Wait, why did Vinyl Poet Classics Leon says the fact that he said his name Bernard Gusky? He said that gave me Charlemagne and Monique Breakfast Club tease Leonard. So if you all have been watching the whole Monique drama about Netflix, I love us for real. I love us for real. If you've been watching her, if you've been watching all this mess Monique's been putting out there. Monique went on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne, and Charlemagne the God's real name is Leonard. And so she kept referring to him as Leonard, not Charlemagne. And he looked at her eyeball to eyeball and said, "Leonard, now would your grandmother be with that, okay, Leonard? Would your mother be okay?" First of all, Monique, it's mother and it's grandmother. TH has a sound, not a B sound. It's a th sound. With the breath, the air, it must pass through the teeth. Anyway, back to our show.
LBJ, you know what?
Yes, Lakeisha sings. Yes. Hey, my loves, do you like my raspy voice? I love us for real.
And you know what? You can't hate on her for trying to stay relevant. The unfortunate thing is
because Monique tried to play me on live television, and I will never forget that.
What did you do, LBJ? Tell us the story.
Listen, so I was reporting when in my television day, and Monique was the subject I was interviewing at the time. We were live on television, and we're talking. We wrapped the interview, and she says, "Baby, were we live?" I said, "Yes, we were." She said, "Don't you ever had nobody go on TV live without telling them I got sponsors, I got this behind me," and she just starts going off, and I'm just like, "Okay, all right, okay, all right." And she goes off because I didn't tell her we were going live. Mind you, if you're listening, I started with "We're live" with Monique.
Not to mention, it's not Larry's job to tell you that. It's your people's job to get that information.
Furthermore, I am wearing an IFB. I'm wearing an earpiece. Okay, the red light comes onto the camera. Someone points to me to cue me. Ma'am, we are live. Are you? You don't love us for real because you don't know us for real.
LBJ.
I think we're getting into the spinoff show, aren't we?
Miss L says, "Spill the tea on Larry Brown Jr."
Oh, there's more because I ran into her in DC after that, and she wanted to act like hey, baby. I don't love us for real, okay? No, I'm not with that. We still have our Netflix account in this household. Let's go back to this show.
Okay, well, I have a segue. Speaking of people who, just aren't actually loving, was that good? Good segue?
Yes.
So speaking of people who are not actually loving, LBJ, the next scene, and listen, I don't know what was happening to me. This was a brief scene, but I took literally a whole legal size page of notes. You guys know I take notes on paper.
Oh my God. What are you about to talk about?
This scene, LBJ, was everything.
Oh, David and Jake, right?
LBJ, it was David.
Take it away. I knew that you would analyze this and break it down like only you can do. Go, Janiyah.
And listen, I feel like LBJ, I don't even have time, okay, to peel back all the layers that live in this scene. But here is what we need to know going into the scene. If someone has never ever watched this show, what would they need to know to understand all that was at play in this scene? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. They would need to know, LBJ, that this is a moment in time where Jake is feeling for the first time and the entire time that we've known him genuinely insecure. Genuinely insecure. We have watched him, looking for a leader, but this is the first time, LBJ, these last couple of episodes, where he has not, in his own mind, had a place in the world. Even if that place was before up under Olivia, up under Fitz, up under somebody, he at least had a place in a context that made sense to him. LBJ, we are watching him. He's like a goldfish that popped out of its little its bowl, and yeah, and it's just on the ground gasping for air. Okay, that's Jake, LBJ. The other thing we need to know is that David Rosen has not had nary a spine since we met him. Okay, not nary a spine, LBJ. We have watched him really, truly just be manipulated. He has been a puppet. If anybody's been a puppet in the show, it's been David Rosen. Okay, sometimes for the good guys, sometimes for the bad guys. But he has been a person who's almost been a non-issue because he's been a conduit for other people's agendas. Okay, so that's what you need to know. But in this scene, LBJ, Jake, the person who has had clarity about his role as a killer, clarity about his role as the person in power when he's got that gun in his hand, he pulls that gun up to David, LBJ. He starts out giving him some threatening language, blah, blah, blah. He basically said, "You about to get got, David Rosen, unless you do what I tell you to do." And then David Rosen did something, and I don't think any of us saw this coming. David Rosen puts down his 1901 briefcase, and he says, he puts his arms out, and he closed his eyes, and he said, "Just kill me." He said, "Because I'm tired of this LBJ." He called Jake's bluff. Not only did he call Jake's bluff, he said to Jake, "You're only here to kill me at someone else's bidding, and that's Cyrus. You're a puppet, okay?" He said, "But at the end of the day, if you kill me, I still win because I have love. people will miss me. Okay. And LBJ, he didn't even know how much of a scab he was picking at for Jake when he started talking about the fact that David Rosen was basically acknowledging, I'm a whole person. All you are, Jake, is a killer. Okay. And this is something Jake has been dealing with, because if he is only a killer and no one is telling him who to kill, then who is he, LBJ? So he's in this whole identity crisis. Meanwhile, David Rosen is figuring out that he's LBJ. If there was a soundtrack for this scene, it would be the You're a Lion song from the Wiz.
I'm standing strong and tall. I'm the greatest of them all. With my courage. I'm a lion, a lion, a lion. I'm a lion. We're singing for y'all tonight.
LBJ. That was David Rosen figuring out he was a lion.
That is a wonderful analogy, and I didn't even think about that. I
LBJ,
really think that
ready.
David Rosen, hashtag Kahunas Grandes.
See, LBJ. And you know what? And LBJ, that's
borderline racist.
And then, no, listen, I have studied Espanol. Okay, for many.
Come on, Mamacita.
Studio, okay. Espanol, okay. And what do all people say who don't really speak it well because they didn't pay attention and they didn't practice and they didn't do the vocabulary homework? Un poco, poquito. Listen, no, you don't speak Spanish. Stop pretending. So, LBJ, long story short, and by long story, I mean my notes on this scene. Long story short, LBJ.
Hashtag
David walks away with his
Grandma Janaya strikes again. Hashtag rotary phone.
Yeah, but the call came through, didn't it?
Oh,
okay. LBJ. So David is alive. Jake got punked, and David is pretty much feeling himself. The next thing we see is Jake. He's now talking to Cyrus, LBJ, and Cyrus has expected that his goon has done what he said. He said, "Did you kill David Rosen?" And all Jake basically says to him is, listen, I am a killer. You're not. I'm not killing him. And you can't tell me what to do until you're also a killer. If you were also a killer, maybe I listen to you. I'm going home. Jake leaves. And he basically said, he didn't say it flat out, but he basically said, do it yourself. Do it yourself. And so LBJ, I think Cyrus thought to himself, well, okay. So the next thing we see at LBJ, and now we know that there should have been sad music playing in this scene.
Janaya, you know good and darn well that Cyrus did not say, well, okay. The way that Cyrus Bean reacts to stuff, Cyrus Bean was in one of these moments where the eyebrows and the head was just like distressed. And he's like, so what happened? Like, what happened to our guy? What happened to our AG? What happened to our AG? Did the whole thing happen? He was a little troll. What happened? What happened? And Dave Rosen's like, I'm second fiddle. I'm double-minded. Like, I just don't know what to do. So I wore a white hat and walked away. Okay. And then I'm like, you know what? Cyrus is about to strike. We know we've been talking about Cyrus in last episodes of our recap leading up to tonight. And so we knew that it was bound to happen. Someone said something funny. What did they say?
LBJ, Lakeisha Singh said, David read Jake for absolute filth. Absolute filth. Charlene McKinney is reminding us that David called Jake a bitch. Okay. And then everybody's agreeing with us about David becoming a lion. Because Kevin Wright's like, David had balls. Sarah Bartlett said, David, poor David, finally got. Oh, we ain't there yet. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
listen, David walked around. David was flaunting that lion's tail like the lion did in The Wiz, and he
sure was.
My mama. He went back to Gabby Abbey Red after he left David Rosen.
Yes, he did.
After David Rosen left Jake, we cut to David gloating in the bedroom.
Not gloating, LBJ. He
Well, I
was
shouldn't say gloating, but he was courageously reflecting. No, let me do some alliteration. He was courageously conversing with his boo, Gabby Abby Red.
Oh, he was
and
so
to play off
proud.
of your analogy with the Wiz, he was laying in bed with her and he was like, my mama always told me, Fleet. And Gabby Abby Red said, Fleet. He said, yeah. Fleetwood Coupe de Ville. My mama always had high hopes for me. Shout out to all the Wiz fans.
Oh my gosh, LBJ.
Fleetwood
That
Coupe de
was
Ville.
so good, LBJ.
I'm standing strong and tall. Listen, I love that scene. So
LBJ, it was so sad.
Scene gives me the victory. And so, but let me say this: sadness beset me in that scene.
Yes.
For the fact that while they're talking, Gabby Abby Red is completely disturbed.
Absolutely.
She's going to jail the next day. She asks David, when are you going to find out?
What time?
They'll send me a message. I'll get the email and know. She said, then I go straight to jail. And he's like, listen, like, pay attention to me, boo thing. He said, listen, even if you do go to jail, I will always be with you. I will not marry some Jewish girl named Jenny. I will wait for you. I said, Candace, he's about to die.
Yeah.
It was too good to be true. We had the foreshadowing of Rowan talking about, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
I said to myself, collateral damage. Someone innocent is going to die. The good guy was set up tonight. Janiyah, what happened? What did I miss?
As soon as David was sitting there so proud of himself, it was clear that his days were numbered. And that number was less than 1. It was 0.25. Because just a few minutes into his courageous chatter, what did you call it? His courageous
conversation.
His courageous conversation with Gabby Abby Red LBJ.
Or courageously conversing.
When he just right after courageously Cyrus text messages him and says, I'm ready to come clean. I want to make a deal.
Yep.
David traipses himself right on over to Cyrus in the middle of the night. And I just wanted to say, and not just wanted to say, I did say, I was here in my home saying, David, wait till business hours. Just wait. Wait until business hours. You literally work in the same building as Cyrus. Just wait until business hours. He didn't hear me, LBJ. He wasn't being receptive. He wasn't being open and listening. LBJ, he went over there. And then LBJ, I think the entire Scandal viewing community, when David took that drink in his hand, LBJ, that Cyrus handed him while Cyrus was giving him a speech about his personal values on things, we all knew, LBJ. We all knew. When David took that sip, I think I know I wasn't the only one screaming. And I think I texted you, LBJ. I texted like all of my friends that I know that I watch the show. I texted them all and said, David, no, don't drink it. Don't drink it, David. But LBJ, he did drink it.
This is what Janiyah texted me. She's like, no, don't drink it, David. Y'all see it? No. That's Janiyah texting me.
Yeah, but guess what? He didn't listen. He did drink it, LBJ. And now he did.
Listen, I knew that David was going to drink. First of all, I did not know that he was going to poison. He was going to die by poison, okay? Yeah. Or by poison or asphyxiation. I did not know that he was going to do that. I knew that he was going to die. I thought that because he was standing strong and tall, I thought that he was going to put up a fight with Cyrus and really fight this thing to the death, like it was the Hunger Games. But no. Gabby Abby Red was so, and I understood why in the script Gabby Abby Red didn't stop him. She was so taken with her own thoughts. She was wrapped up in her own future. It didn't even register with her. She was not present. That's her boo, her Spikeavelli, her boyfriend, her man was going to the killer's house. She knew and knows what Cyrus is capable of doing.
She wasn't paying attention.
She was not paying attention. And so when that happened, like you said, the courage got to him, and he traipsed over there, and he met his demise. And it was very, very sad. Shonda even retweeted a gladiator that was watching, and she said, "Gosh, why did the good guy have to die? Have to die? Out of everyone who was a part of this television show,
Why?
He was the only good one, and the good one had to die. And
Why?
Gabby Abby read Darby Stanfield tweeted. She said, "When we got to the part where the man who shall remain nameless dies, I began bawling uncontrollably. Like she said, she could not take it when they said that he died." And she said that at a table read, she just started bawling, crying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very, very.
And Dan Blakemore said David was the only one who didn't see it coming. Oh,
Yeah.
it's sad and true. Sad and true. LBJ, then the next scene we see is they're in the morgue looking at his dead body. Okay. And Gabby Abby Red, now she's the lion, LBJ, because she's basically saying, no one make eye contact with me. Nobody cry. Okay. We don't have time to cry. She said, listen, obviously my man is laying here dead on this slab, but right now is the time for action. We'll cry later. She's now the
Don't you
lion,
cry.
LBJ.
Don't you cry. Because if you cry, I'll start. I won't be able to stop. Those are her exact words.
And she said, don't look at me. And everybody just looked away like,
yes.
Yeah, it was good. So LBJ, and then the next scene we see, and I have to say, I really need the chat to weigh in on this because I thought this was peculiar. Okay. When Quinn goes to Eli Rowan Pope with her baby and is basically asking him to take the baby away and make sure the baby has a good life. Did you see that coming, LBJ?
I totally did not see that coming. But let me tell you this. So I thought it was very, very funny that she said that because it was almost as if Quinn Robin Lindsay was sitting there looking at Papa Pope, and she went to him like what we gonna do? What we gonna do tomorrow? We're gonna go see the people tomorrow. You gonna get us out here, Miss Harriet? And it's like, really, really. I said, is this really what's happening on Scandal right now? Quinn Robin Lindsay wants Rowan to be Harriet for B613 Way Out, for the B613 Way Out. He is not the underground plug to get out of B613. This is not 12 years of B613. 12 years in the hole. No, he cannot help you out.
Mm-mm.
That's what I said on my Twitter. I thought that was funny. Maybe it was. Maybe you didn't find it funny, but she came to him like his name was Rowan Harriet Tubman Pope, and he needed her to. She needed him to get her on the Underground Railroad out of B613 land.
Yeah, and Harriet basically said, "You better get your own drinking gourd. We ain't following mine tonight."
Thank you for adding the funny. Yes. Thank you for adding the funny. I appreciate you. This is why we are eternal co-hosts.
Exactly.
We will be co-hosted in heaven.
And I have to tell you,
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jesus.
I have to tell everybody in the chat. Me and Larry have been co-hosting since we met.
Since we were 18 years old, we've been co-hosting. Okay.
When we met in college, we immediately knew that our randomness needed to be in front of an audience of some sort, and we would be like not even in front of people hosting things. Okay. And then eventually we actually did become hosts like on the campus of Howard University, and we like were co-hosting like talent shows and pageants and stuff.
You name it, we were booked. Okay,
we loved it. It was so good.
Who's hosting your event? Keisha. Y'all don't have Larry and Janiyah? We ain't coming. You don't have Larry and Janiyah? Please, we're not coming. Who's hosting? Who's coming? Oh, no celebrities? Larry and Janiyah don't do celebrities. They only do celebrities. Like they only do celebrities and like A-listers. Like they don't do anyone else. Yeah, that was us.
LBJ, we had mad banter, mad banter.
Yes, no rehearsal necessary.
None, LBJ. And so then you know who else doesn't need any rehearsal?
Ooh,
even though they've had plenty, okay? It's Fitz and Olivia, okay? Because the next thing we see is they have now reconciled the implications, okay, of Rowan being dead. I mean, of David being dead. Since David's dead, the whole plan of having someone they could be in cahoots with somehow in a leadership role in all of this that could find any mercy for them, LBJ, that's all gone. And so they're all dealing with this. They're living in the implications of it, LBJ. And we see Fitz and Olivia. And once again, as usual, they're in their bed clothes, I think. And
No, Fitz has on an amazing knit sweater, cardigan joint
oh, that's
that I
right.
love. So Janiyah and I are dressed in solidarity and unity for the
Mm-hmm.
show.
Mm-hmm.
However, Fitz has a collar similar to this one that kind of comes down and it unbuttons itself. And it's a wonderful. I'm losing my earpiece. It's
Yes.
a wonderful cardigan that I would totally rock if you made
Yeah.
it in my size. Whomever makes that sweater, somebody do the research and let me know who it is. I'm sure it's like some
See,
high end designer. It's like $800.
exactly. See, that's the thing about truly wealthy people. They will just have on clothes that might have that look like they could have come from anywhere.
Yep.
Okay, because
Yep.
it's
Looks
just a
like grandma
cardigan.
knitted it for Christmas. Yep.
And maybe got yeah. And so LBJ, there they are. And Olivia is basically saying, LBJ, again, what we needed her to say, we knew it already. She basically is saying, we lost. Cyrus is going to get the oval. David is dead. She's mourning. She said, I didn't fix anything. All this time, I've been trying to fix everything. And then she said it, LBJ. She said, this entire time, I was the problem.
Pivotal. Pivotal.
I was the problem. She's like, I realized it now. It's me. And Fitz in his very, oh, don't you see I'm your knight in shining armor kind of way. Okay. He wants to comfort her. And LBJ, she doesn't allow it. She wants to sit in her conclusion that it's all her fault. And she says to him, listen, we got two paths, buddy. I'm paraphrasing. Path one, we talk this out and we deal
Oh
with our
yes, come
feelings.
on, lead up, come on.
But path number two, she said, we can do something else. And Fitz, he tries again. He's like, but babe, it's not you. We're adults. We all made our choices. She said, option A, feelings, or option B, something else.
Woohoo! Oh,
And
something else has feeling too.
LBJ, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I might have really enjoyed just that moment, okay? When Fitz said, take off your clothes. Whoa! LBJ, listen, I don't care. I just need the women in the chat to be honest, okay? Let's just keep it real, okay? That was hot.
Listen,
okay?
we have one right now. Let's go to Normina's Harmony. Oh, wait. We just lost you, Normina. Please come back. Oh no, we just lost you. Please come back. Normina's Harmony, come back in the room. We were about to go to you. But listen, so the women, please let us know. We want to get you in this conversation. Let us know what you think. So while you were thinking about that, Normina's Harmony, come back. We were about to bring you right in. We saw you in the bottom of the screen. Listen.
Dan Blakemore said, Fitz broke the window labeled in case of nectar emergency, break glass. LBJ Lakeisha sings, agrees with me, says that was hot. And then she put the emoji that is like, it's shock, okay?
Listen, I think all of y'all felt the feeling. I think all of y'all felt the lip quiver and some other kind of quiver that was going on. I think every woman that has been an Olivia Olitz fan this entire season.
No, LBJ. I have never been an Liz fan, and I felt that feeling. Okay, Grace says something else, aka boom chicka wow wow. And Miss L said, "Hell yeah, that's sexy." Rakira's agreeing with me. Janiyah, you are right, hot as hell. Dan Blakemore said, "Hashtag come on in the room."
Come on in the room. Come on in the room. He said, Olivia is my doctor. I can get all her prescriptions and she gives me all my nectar in the room.
The best quote in the whole chat of the whole night.
EJ Dexter? Season. Yes.
EJ Dexter said, I was naked. I was too.
Oh no, EJ Dexter goes on to say, I was naked, and then she says, soaked to the knees.
Yeah, it was so hot. Linda Gasson is like super sexy hot sizzle. Oh
Okay,
my
and then my mother is in here talking about telling me to close my eyes. I can't do it. I can't do it. Nope, can't do it.
She said, "Close your eyes, LBJ." Yep, it was
La
sizzling.
la 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 la. Can't do it. Can't do it.
No, it was
EJ
really
Duchess
good.
said nectar flood in her basement, and then I'm under these emojis. I cannot. This is too much. This too much. This too much.
Listen, that was hot.
I knew every woman was like losing it because Clay was losing it. Oh, and Lakeisha sings is all in this thing too. Listen,
yeah,
and so Grace says, remember, take off your clothes is what was on the audio tape playback in the first season. Yes, you know why? Because Fitz said it to Olivia in season 1, and then Scandal, the Twitter account, retweeted that GIF that said, it's Fitz telling her, take off your clothes. And she, you felt it again.
Oh my God. LBJ. I just had a flashback nectar-sode. Oh my God. It just got me. Yeah, I mean, there's something about that cardigan. Anyway, so the next scene, LBJ, we're now back to the Lovers of Liberty. And here we are on the other side of all of this, okay? And, we see our narrator basically saying, listen, our government has been put to bed, okay? All of our enemies are facing their makers and they're going to jail, LBJ. And it is just LBJ to me, LBJ, I could not believe how much all of this was getting, at least from the world's perspective, it was getting tied up in a nice, neat little bow. Yep. But we all know what really happened, LBJ.
Yes, before we go there, we gotta bring in Normina's Harmony, who was with us live in the chat. Normina, unmute your microphone, and please, you'll see it'll say you see the microphone at the top of your page. Click that, unmute your mic, so that we can bring you in. Normina's Harmony is here with us. Say hi, Normina's Harmony. What do you think about that scene with Fitz and Olivia?
Well, I know you don't like Olitz, but I've been Olitz since the beginning, so I was happy.
Yeah.
So listen. I've been anti-Olitz up until Fitz's divorce, right? I was not a fan of Olitz with Olivia as a side piece, but now she's not the side piece. Mm-hmm. It's all legit, right? So like, were you rejoicing because you never really seen this? Like, did you feel the season 1 vibe that you felt, or was it stronger here in season 7?
I saw a lot of parallels between this one and season 1, like the beginning when she came in.
Come on and go deep. All right, go.
You know that it started off season 1, episode 1 with her and what's his name, dude, Steven, and that elevator opened like that.
Yes.
And then but I felt it was stronger in this season because they went through so much more through those. It was like what, and then it was 8 years, his presidency. And then like a year for Melly, so yeah. But I was happy. I was like, Olitz.
Well, I guess this might not be a fair question to a true Olitz fan, but did you really think they were going to make their way back to each other before the end of this show? I will be honest with you. I thought that it was over. I thought that they would be in a situation where they loved each other forever, but that the universe would not allow them to be. And and then they're back together. Did you see that coming, Normina's Harmony?
No, I thought that she was gonna end up alone.
Yeah.
I thought she deserved to end up alone until last episode when she finally put the white hat back on. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. And then I was like, maybe I can see them ending up being together, but
okay, so I like the way that you tied that together because I've been the advocate of Olivia being alone when this is all said and done. Too. But if you've noticed in the episode, since you want to go deep, Normina's Harmony, I like to go deep too. So put your goggles on and your scuba gear. Let's go deep. So I think that because we saw Olivia in the episode, her wardrobe changed, and I've always paid attention to her wardrobe. I am far from being a person who pays attention to fashion. Listen, I'm not that person. I probably need to style someone to live in and dress me every day. But tonight we got a chance to see Olivia change and to start wearing a white. She held the white hat last week's episode and the week before. And Quinn said, you don't have the right to hold the white hat. She held the white hat. And to me, the white began to come back over her. And so tonight we saw her wearing the white top, blouse, jacket thing, whatever y'all call that, over the black top and pant thing that she was doing in the White House. And I said, notice her going back into the white. So I totally get that. I'm with you on that, Normina's Harmony.
Yeah, I mean, they do use her fashion to signal changes in mood and energy. Yep. And I think if we're gonna talk about Olivia's fashion, isn't it true that she has been wearing black and gray for most of the time that we've known her?
She's been dirty.
Yeah, she's been wearing black and gray. Am I right about that, Normina's Harmony?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there has been a time where she might have had on like a blue jacket. What did we miss, LBJ?
I'm laughing because EJ Dexter is about to get those cowl neck. Is this a cowl neck sweater that I'm wearing? I'm about to get those cowl neck sweaters. Is that what Olivia wears too? Like these kinds of things? If so, I have two. I have a red one. I have a black one. It's Ralph Lauren polo. Okay, call me label whoever you want, but whatever.
LBJ, was somebody making fun of your sweater?
EJ Dexter was. It's all good. I love you, EJ. I hope you don't have flood damage, all that nectar in your basement.
Look at my gladiator candle. You can't see it.
What does it say?
It says gladiator.
Oh,
I see that. Where did you get that?
It was way too expensive. Shonda Rhimes was selling it, and she charged it was too expensive. I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, whoa! How do we miss this sale? Was she selling bottles of Duboulet as well?
No, but I got some. It's gone though. I drank 2 of them. Where they at?
Oh, Normina Harmony is not playing with us tonight. She has Duboulet.
I needed something to get me through it because I knew I was going to be emotional.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And
we hope you weren't too emotional tonight. We thank you so much for hanging out with us in the conversation. We're so good
let me come in.
You're welcome. I'm so glad we could put a voice with your chat as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you for hanging out with us all the time. It's just, I'm going to miss you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I'm going to miss it too.
Oh, we'll see you. I'm sure we will connect again in YouTube land in the future. Thank you so much, Normina.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, Janiyah,
wait, I'm starting to get emotional. I'm just gonna go ahead.
I see it's starting to happen, right? You feeling the feelings? She pulled out the candle. Shonda was selling candles. I didn't even know Shonda was selling candles. How did I miss this sale?
Well, LBJ, when Normina's Harmony pulled out her candle, I pulled out my one little bit of scandal crap, and it's a little pin that says Pope Head.
I can't.
Can you see? I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on, LBJ.
Making the mucus come out. I can't.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna show some of my pictures with my friend Cornelius Sunday when we do our little scandal recap. But we leave. Let's wrap here. Let's start
we need to get to this is now the big scene, LBJ.
Yeah.
Fitz gets a call, again, he's like wiping the nectar off his face. He gets a call and he's like, what? When did this happen? The hearing has been postponed, blah, blah, blah. LBJ, he's shocked. It's been postponed. Why? Because there's a new witness. LBJ, who's the witness? Now, LBJ, listen, here, I don't want to put any pressure on you.
Listen, oh my gosh, I knew the moment would come.
LBJ, Larry Aloysius Brown. Okay?
Come on, Aloysius.
Listen here.
And that is not my middle name for all of you. My middle name is not Aloysius, okay?
Listen here, Larry Alonzo Brown.
This too much.
Okay. You need to really do right by us, LBJ. This is the last episode of Scandal. Okay? These are the last words of Eli Rowan Papa Pope.
Yes, I know.
Now, LBJ, he did not monologue in the way that he normally does, but he said enough, LBJ, for you to recap this scene in the way that we are expecting you to. Okay? Take it away. Do it right.
Oh, first of all, before
I'm
we
gonna sit
begin,
here with my popcorn.
first of all, giving honor to God, who was the head of my life, to the pastor, members, and friends. Okay. I would like to shout out all of you in the chat who are encouraging me even as I speak these
That's right.
words. Okay.
That's right.
I feel so much pressure right now.
And you should.
Because this is it for Rowan. And y'all know I love, love, love.
Coffee,
Rowan.
light, and sweet said Larry Brown Jr. come through with that Papa Pope monologue.
I feel like I'm being hazed at this point. Okay. Oh. So we cut to the scene. Papa Pope is sitting in the hearing before the council, and he's sitting there and he says, "You want to know who has been running B613. You want to know who is the one who's been pushing the buttons. You want to know who's been the hell and the high water. Well, let me tell you, B613 was a covert operation of the United States of America, sir. So before you begin, can we please have your name?" Yes, my name is. Your name is Rowan Pope. No, Rowan.
No,
Pope.
he says. They say Eli Pope.
He says, "Sir, your name is Eli Pope." No, Eli is not my real name. Eli is my kill name. My real name is Rowan. But I am not here as Rowan. I am here as Command. I am here as Eli. So I will testify as Eli. Let me tell you about Eli. Eli's a rock, shout, shout. Eli's a rock, coming up, Lord. Let me tell you why that song means so much to me. Because that's the song that my ancestors came as they were coming over through the Middle Passage. You want to know what the Middle Passage is? The Middle Passage is the place that I am going to school you on as to how me and all of my people got here off of the ship, and I have now running this country. How have I run this country? I have run this country because I have been responsible for every war. I have been responsible for every sit-in, every march, every protest, every policy, every gun shooting. I have been responsible for running this country for 30 years. You want to know how I've been responsible for? Because I've been in charge of B613. And I get to sit here in front of all of you who think that you thought you were running this country because you thought your money got you where you were. And if you didn't think it was your money who got you where you were, it was your privilege. Not just any kind of privilege, but I'm going to subtweet and subtext this thing and let you know it was your white privilege. Your white privilege has you sitting up here in front of me, the council of white men, sitting in front of me, Eli Rowan Pope, whom you thought worked for the Smithsonian, but I not only did not work for the Smithsonian, I was command. I sat at the top of B613, this covert operation that you authorized and your daddies authorized, your daddy's daddies authorized. I sat in this seat for 30 years and I run this country. You want to know how I ran this country? By pushing the button. I ran this country by being the hell and the high water. I might not have said the hell and high water in that monologue, but all the Scandalous fans knew that it was the hell and the high water in this monologue that I was subtweeting the entire time. And you want to know what? You want to see something? I am the one who makes America great. I make America great. You sit here in your privilege and think you're the ones who make America great, but I make America great. I am responsible for every decision to go to war in this country. When this thing is all said and done, I want my name everywhere. I want a monument. I want my face on Mount Rushmore. I want young children to see my face in the future, in the social studies books, in their history classes. I want them to speak well of Rowan, of Eli Pope. I want them to see me from sea to shining sea. You know what? You want to sit here as a white complacent. You want to sit in your white complacent positions. Listen, man, I am the one who runs you. You never even met me before. I am the one who was running you, a black man who's been running this country. A black man for the past 30 years has been running this country. God bless America. You want to take B613 down? You want to shut this whole thing down? You want to identify command? You will identify command. But guess what? You won't use me to identify command. I'm going to give you someone. You need to give them someone. It ain't going to be me. That doesn't mean you need to give them me. Cut to whom they giving them to B613 command? They giving Jake.
LBJ pause as I get my church fan. Woo! LBJ, I had to fan myself like I was in church.
Listen, I needed a church nurse after that monologue, okay?
LBJ, oh my gosh, you killed it.
Y'all
LBJ.
know I paraphrase. So
it
yeah.
was so good. LBJ, the chat was loving it.
Oh, thank y'all. I was so nervous. Y'all saw me sweating. I was sweating the whole time. I wiped off now. I was totally sweating that whole thing because I knew y'all were gonna want me to do this.
LBJ, Nola Brooks said I need an usher to fan me because I just fainted. LBJ, Michelle said, preach, LBJ.
Thank y'all.
Lakeisha Six was like, yes.
Oh, that was good tonight. Yeah. You had the vibrato on there like that strong church singer.
Well, once you get the church fan, the vibrato comes with it. And next I'll be getting my tambourine.
Wait, EJ Dutchess said her privacy cloth has been dropped. I can't.
LBJ, you slayed it. Bible Poet Classics Lion said, slay, Larry. Okay.
Thank you.
LBJ, you did it.
Yes, I got my Kevin Wright. I like you, man. He said you got your help. Oh, yeah. I got my help. Oh yes, I got my help.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and now here we are again. Best quote of the night. Mrs. Creole Davis said, I need a prayer cloth. Only the true.
Did you faint, Mrs. Creole Davis? Did you faint?
Only the true churchgoers know what a prayer cloth is.
And it has to be a blue satin cloth.
That's exactly right. And in my family church, they had ridges around the end. That's how you know if it was a real one.
That's the anointing.
That was the anointing. And so LBJ, at the end of this, Rowan Pope is basically saying, yeah, I'm the puppet master. Y'all my puppets. Let's run tell that.
And I think that Rakira brings up the point of it all. She says, LBJ, sorry, Rowan played on their racism. They could not admit that a black man had done all that. So they accepted Jake. And I agree. Yes, totally. I agree that they could not believe that a black man had done that. And I thought that was so bold and bombastic of Shonda Rhimes to end Rowan Pope's character like that. And remember what I said when we saw Mama Pope's moment, right?
Yeah.
I said here in the Scandal recap, I said, we're going to see these characters begin to take these grand moments, especially the ones that have been major to the story. They're going to take these grand moments as curtain calls. That was Rowan Pope's curtain call. We needed nothing else from him. We did not see him in the episode with words at all. We saw him talking to Olivia over music. With the Stevie Wonder Sunny Days montage that took place. But he said nothing else in this episode audibly. That was all that needed to be said. Shonda Rhimes, bravo to you for writing such an amazing monologue for this episode. And I still would love, I believe by faith that you watch this conversation that we have, the Scandal recap, Shonda. And I submit to you, please, oh please, find a way to somehow have that monologue slip into my DMs and my email address somewhere, because I will forever frame that and hold that forever as memorabilia to the show, because that was an amazing, bold thing that you did with that monologue there. Thank you so much.
It was so good, LBJ. And I have to just read Sierra Bartlett's comment. Papa went in to sacrifice his adopted son for his blood, as he told Quinn he would do when he told her earlier this season that he would protect his daughter when she was threatening Olivia. Do you remember that, LBJ? Thank you for calling that out, Sierra Bartlett. Because and you actually, Sierra Bartlett, have already answered the question I was just about to pose, which is, why do people think he did it? Why do people think he did it? I mean, because last we heard from him, he was heading out of town, okay? And he probably still did head out of town. But he was not planning to come back. He had told Quinn to go find her own drinking gourd.
It was bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh.
I've
been saying all along.
That's right.
I've been saying every single time that I talk about this Pope family that we were going to see some kind of showdown with these popes. Yep. And Daddy Pope, Papa Pope came through like the champ that we know him to be in tonight's episode, and he rounded that whole thing out with the testimony, and he walked out scot-free.
Yeah. And LBJ, the next thing that we see, and this is where I started to, so we were on this, we had a moment of shock and awe with Papa Pope coming and doing what he did, LBJ. But I also, I don't know, I still wanted more from the episode. But LBJ, after that, it was basically over.
Tanaya, I get sad. Oh no.
I mean, so then the next thing that happens is that we go to QPA, and it's, they're basically almost montaging us on out of here. Okay, we go to QPA. They're realizing that the good guys won. They're celebrating it. Olivia goes and visits Jake in jail because, guys, once Eli Rowan Pope says to them, listen, let's go and tell the whole world, tell the whole world that it's been a black man pulling the strings. But then he says to them, but you don't have to tell them it was me. You need to take command down. It doesn't have to be me. And LBJ, the next person we see in handcuffs is poor side bitch Jake. Okay.
Really?
Listen, not my words. Okay. He basically has been.
You know what that is? You know what that was?
What was that?
That was a second fiddle. I was playing second fiddle.
And do you know why that sound was unfamiliar to me? Because people only pay attention to the first fiddle. Nobody cares about the second fiddle.
No one cares. Nobody cares about second fiddle.
And so LBJ's second fiddle's in handcuffs. All right. And he's traipsed into jail. And then LBJ, Olivia had the nerve, LBJ, the gall, okay, to walk herself on into the jailhouse and see Jake. And here's the thing about Jake. Jake has this look on his face where he's almost like, well, at least I've got a plan again. I was flailing a little bit there. He's completely resigned to all of this, LBJ. And he's even making jokes about it. They're sending me to Illinois. I'm back in the Corn Belt again. He's like making jokes. Because you have to remember, Jake knows about the hole. Okay? Jake ain't scared of the hole. Okay? So Jake's going to prison.
That was such a punny statement.
Olivia comes and she's teary and she's like, I just feel like it's it's all my fault. She goes, I made you step out of the sun, and if I had just stayed with you on that island, none of this would have happened. And he said, listen, don't feel bad. You gave me something that I needed and that I had never had before. He said, I loved you, and so he thanked her for that. And then LBJ, he definitely threw out a nugget that was a throwback. Did you catch it, LBJ? He said, Olivia's there. She's so full of guilt. And she says, we all did things. And you're the only one that's losing your freedom. And he said, what is it they say? Freedom is never lost. I am always free. They cannot cage me. LBJ, do you know who he was quoting?
Papa Pope, right?
Papa Pope, LBJ.
Yeah.
And this I did do a little Googling on really fast.
That was that brainwash training coming back to him.
LBJ, it was season 5, episode 4.
Come on, citation.
Dog whistle politics episode. And so, okay, so the quote that what Jake said tonight was, freedom is never lost. He said, I am always free. They cannot cage me. The original quote from Papa Pope was, I don't have to regain my power. True power is never lost.
I remember that. Gosh, I remember that.
And freedom, boy, I am always free.
No
one will ever cage me.
Yes. And he said that to whom?
To whom? Whom?
You don't know. So that was Papa Pope talking to Fitz.
Yes.
That was that first moment that we saw.
It was Jake. I'm further reading this.
Sorry, it was Jake. Yeah, so I'm sorry. That was when. Sorry, let me go back. So Papa Pope had been on a whole tirade, guys. Remember in season, what was that, 5, Janiyah, you said? Where he was like,
season 5. It was Jake. Okay.
So season 4 and 5, we meet Papa Pope season 2.
Right.
We continue on, and Papa Pope starts laying into them, like laying all these like smackdowns with words to these people because he's like, I run this stuff, and don't forget I'm daddy. I run this, and these moments that he's taking, and so to me, Jake internalized that because he had to find solace to move forward in that moment to reconcile Papa Pope's stance with him. But he held on to that. Go ahead.
LBJ. He is quoting their father. Because remember, he's both Papa Pope and his father too.
Nope. At this point, he is Olivia's father. He's not Jake's. He was Jake's father. He was Jake's father for Surface. He's Olivia's father on record, like through and through.
Yeah, because he let that son go to jail.
Everything is everything. Olivia is the only one that he will ride or die for. He's the hell and high water for her.
You got that right, LBJ. You cannot argue with the hashtag.
Think about this. Rowan only really went to bat for Jake so that Jake could be enraged and could take action. And could be this monster. Olivia, he went to bat so that he could protect her. Remember, Papa Pope has been trying to protect his baby the entire time. He never wanted her to be like this. He wanted to send her away on the plane. And she's like, no, Daddy, like I want to be powerful like you and Mommy. And he's like, baby, no. And so this is where we end off.
Oh my gosh. LBJ, okay, so we've gone so long, LBJ.
We've gone so long. We've gone so deep. Let's get to this last monologue
about that Jake Papa Pope relationship. We'll do it on Sunday.
Yes,
because I have a lot to say about it, LBJ. There's a lot that needs to be talked about there. The next thing we see, LBJ, is Cyrus and Olivia, and what is she doing? Costume change. Bloop, all white. Okay. LBJ, if I was on it, I would have had like a white jacket I could put on right now and like also change my LBJ's gonna have a costume change. Yes.
Okay, I'm wearing all white. See, look, I'm wearing all white. Look, I'm wearing all white.
Your shirt is that's no cowl neck.
Listen. I'm wearing all white. Okay, I brought this just for the end of this show. I'm wearing all white.
Oh, Deborah Battle said Jake is back where Papa Pope found him in the first place. Okay, Deborah Battle, we're gonna pick that up on Sunday.
Oh, Deborah Battle goes hard. Deborah Battle goes real hard.
That relationship. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Olivia's in her all white.
Oh wait, Lakeisha sings that I had on a halter top. Look, she's gonna have on a halter top. Look at this. Is this a halter top? Whoa! Hashtag halter top. It's a hanky.
LBJ in his white halter top, just as Olivia had on her white
Destiny's
outfit.
Child wearing Tina Knowles collection.
and LBJ, I would have on the same one, but it'd be slightly askew.
Right, exactly. And then someone else had one on with a cowboy hat.
That's right. And so Olivia is there in the White House.
House of Darion.
Olivia's there in the White House, LBJ, and she basically Cyrus walks in with the Eeyore music in my head. Boobity-do, be-do, be-do, boomity-do, be-do, be-do. And he walks in all sad and mopey. Oh, no, I killed somebody. I'm depressed. Blah, blah, blah. And now Olivia's like, just sign this resignation and get out of here. And LBJ, he does then a poor Cyrus monologue where he's
it was terrible. It was terrible.
He's like, Olivia, alcohol used to be the only way.
I need a strong drink. A strong drink clears my mind after a hard day. A strong drink makes me think clearer.
Blah, blah, blah,
drink with me, Olivia. Boom, be-dum, be-dum, be-dum. Olivia's like, bye, bit. Bye, bit.
Yeah. Kevin Wright says Cyrus has just David thoughts in his head. Lakeisha Singh says Cyrus will be forever haunted. And it's true. He deserves that. Okay. But the other thing is he goes ahead and signs it, LBJ. He signs it because at the end of the day, he says, you know what? Just as a stiff drink doesn't bring me back to center anymore, I don't think the presidency will either. And his exit, LBJ, to me was better than any death scene that we've ever seen. He was walking out of the Oval, the thing that he had been working so doggedly to get. And he stops and looks at the presidential seal on the carpet. He looks at it. He basically tells it goodbye and Eeyores his way right on out of the room. Bo-be-dee-do, be-do, be-do, to never be seen again. He's gone. Next, we see Melly and Olivia talking. They're out there. I knew we were going to have one more scene on the balcony. Okay, I knew it was
let me
coming.
just say this about Cyrus as we close out Cyrus.
Yes.
So my solace with Cyrus is the fact that he has to live with the pain and the pressure and all of the intensity of Cyrus for the rest of his life until he drops dead. He's going to be walking to Gettysburg or somewhere. He's going to drop dead because that is what he has earned for his future. Continue.
And LBJ, and I cannot find it because I don't know where it went, but somebody in the chat had said very early on that the one thing Cyrus didn't want was to be a nobody. And that's exactly where he landed. And it was very early in the chat that somebody said it, and I cannot find it. But that's true. He has literally, his all of his efforts have led him to exactly the one fate he did not want, which was to be inconsequential. And guess what? You're out. So then, LBJ, we see Melly and Olivia on the balcony. And what's the next Scandal Jam session?
It's Sunny Days by Stevie Wonder. It's a wonderful song. Essentially, it says like I've finally made the decision to pack up my bags and live life for my own. I've made the decision to shut all this down and pack it up, shut it, and continue life in a different way.
And that's
we see a montage of all these different things.
Yes.
Out the season. I mean, the series. And to me, this is where I get really, really sad because we see Melly Grant. Sorry, I told you I wasn't feeling well. We see Melly Grant sign the policy about gun control. I did not see what the actual like title of the policy was.
Yeah, it was like it was a committee on assault weapons.
Yes, but let's pay attention. Let's pay attention to the number, the title, and what we saw in that. Well, let's bookmark that for the future because I think that in my spirit, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan. I feel in my spirit. If you touch the screen right now, touch the screen. I feel in my spirit that if you touch the screen, Janaya, if you touch it, I feel that we will see such policy in the coming days and these real United States of America.
Whoa!
I say that because so many moments in The Simpsons have been foreshadowing or prophetic to the future for today. I feel that this show has been so iconic that there are people watching this show that will pay attention to the subtext that's been involved in the social commentary of our lives.
Yeah.
And just as sure as we're talking now here live, and just as sure as people will watch this in the future, when we are old, decrepit, with great-grandchildren, talking about baby, let me tell you a story. Back in my day, when the museum opened, there was a woman named Olivia Pope. And we would talk about this story, and we would talk about the activism that they will be doing. And here's where I start feeling the feelings. We'll talk about the activism they'll be doing. And we will say to our future generations that this is what started the firestorm of change that you are now living in.
Yeah.
Because as sure as we thought we would not be living in the generation that our grandparents fought, that our parents witnessed, and that we now have to carry the banner to fight as the generation that we live in, these children, these future generations will have to stand up and look at this and make decisions for something else in the future. And so I appreciate that moment, that we saw there. And I think that we have to pay attention to what was on that paper because that is something that will become law in this country. Mark my words. Mark my words.
LBJ, the chat is touching and agreeing with you on this. Okay. We want what you're saying to be true, LBJ. And at the end of the episode, we're seeing everybody's dreams come true. Charlie's out. Okay. He's frolicking in the alley with Quinn and the baby. Okay. Melly and Marcus are out in the streets taking photos. Marcus has all he's ever wanted to do was be booed up with a powerful woman. He finally accomplished that.
Listen, there are so many levels in that Marcus story that we need to dissect. I'm not even going there right now.
Yeah, we'll get into that on Sunday. Okay. Olivia said to Melly's like, "Oh, come work with me, girlfriend. I need you, girlfriend." And Olivia basically said to her, "No, I'm going to do something else." Melly said, "What?" Olivia said, "Whatever I want." Okay. So the next thing we see her doing is having dinner with who? Her father. That's what you want to do? Okay.
No, pause, stop. That was epic. That was epic. Daddy was free. Daddy was not locked up. Jake was locked up. Olivia was
Jake
not
was
locked
locked
up.
up.
No gladiator took the heat except for Jake.
Yep.
On top of that, the
Mm-hmm.
true bond existed. From when we saw, remember, Olivia was on her loan when we saw her all season 1. Olivia was on her loan all season 2 until the end, and she said, "Dad," and she saw Rowan in the seat. So here we are, the daddy's girl back with the daddy, and they are free to be who they want to be. He didn't have to leave. He didn't have to leave his daughter. That is his lifeline. They are each other's lifeline right now.
Yes.
They need each other, and we don't. Whatever their future holds, they are safe and they are sound because the Republic is fine.
Right. See, I mean, but why are they still here? Aren't they going to leave?
They'll take a vacation, yeah, but they're going to come back and go to their nice, luxurious homes worth $2 million in Upper Northwest DC. Absolutely. I want Olivia to get a single family home and get out that condo. How about that? That's what really wanted to happen. Because real estate in DC is something. Let me tell y'all.
Right. And LBJ, Gabby Abby Red, she still has her real estate, but she don't have her man. LBJ,
oh, can we take a moment and talk about that cry that she had when she was like, I was like, man, like it was too much.
And then LBJ, Jake is still he's in jail having a good time. You know, Jake always loved the hole. Jake is dead.
Here we go, being funny again.
Jake is in jail. He's fantasizing about his time with Olivia on the beach, going to his happy place. And then LBJ, we see 2 little girls walking through an exhibit.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
And they get to the closing image of Scandal. And LBJ, it was Olivia and her photo, a painting of Olivia looking, I gotta go ahead and say, #fierce. Okay.
Listen, this is all kinds of black girl magic.
This is it. That's it, LBJ. Scandal was done with that.
When you saw the portrait of Olivia, the painted portrait of Olivia, now mind you, we've seen a painted portrait of a woman who served as first lady and president. We second saw a painted portrait of a man who sat as who was a sitting president for 2 terms. Then we saw a portrait of a woman who was not a president or first lady, but she had a portrait hanging in the corner panel of the National Portrait Gallery. Now, many people on Scandal said that Olivia became president. We did not flash forward at all in this episode. Go ahead.
LBJ, was that the National Portrait Gallery?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because I messed that up then. Because don't you remember that Fitz was saying that he wanted her portrait in his museum?
Yes.
That's what I thought it was. I thought those little girls were touring his museum.
No, that was a National Portrait. That was the National Portrait Gallery. That was not Fitz's museum. We never left DC this episode. We were in full DC all episode. Yeah. And I feel like those girls represented so many different things. And here's where, like, I appreciate the power of the platform, and I appreciate the time that we're living in, because we got a chance to experience this. And we got a chance to see. We lived through on this show. We saw, so Scandal premiered while Barack Obama was president. Yep. We had 2 first daughters named Sasha and Malia. We also got a chance to watch a television show come to life that was called Scandal, where they met a little girl in a bar and said, "You're going to come work for us." Her name was Lindsay Dwyer. They changed her name to Quinn Perkins. And we saw these 2 men, a black man and a white man, come together working for a black woman who we learned they're working for, to come bring her in and like make her like do this kind of like rigorous intern work. And we saw this woman who essentially held all this power, who was an unsung hero, just like Betsy Ross was an unsung hero for the war, sewing a flag. And it's on display in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., in various museums and stories and placards that we see. And I
Oh,
feel that we lived in this time where a black man was president. He
yes.
had two daughters, taller and
Mm-hmm.
shorter, Sasha and Malia. We
Mm-hmm.
have an executive producer who has daughters who has daughters who are taller and shorter. We also
Mm-hmm.
have future generations of young black girls and young black boys who will see and hear of said character, Olivia Pope.
Yes.
We will see this thing where um, it's a thing. We will see this thing where um, these children will have a chance to hear of a Bill Cosby, of a Claire Huxtable, of In a Different World, of a
Mm.
Cosby Show. They will hear of these different iconic characters. We've heard of, we've lived through Good Times and the Jeffersons. Our parents did that. Our parents knew of Julia, Diane Carroll. They knew of
Mm.
all these other
Yes.
a Kizzy in a movie. They saw these characters, and now we have an Olivia Pope to our generation. We, the ones who said we'll
Yes.
never have
Yes.
another, we'll never have another, and now
Mm.
we have one. And all of the griminess that she's been through. This character represents something
Yep.
for a future generation. It's an icon, and this
Mm.
show represents a moment in our history that has to be observed, and it has to be appreciated, it has to be applauded, and ultimately praised because it meant something for the culture. Not for the culture, but for the everyone culture, for all of us. Because we
Mm.
experienced this as a people, we bought into this. We talked about it. We tweeted about it. We broke the internet about Scandal.
Mm.
We created history, y'all. Like this was our Barack Obama moment in television. Not as iconic as an African American president, but as people who are consumers of entertainment. We experienced this, and now we have this moment to celebrate for the future generations. So Shonda's daughters, my future
Mm.
daughters, your future daughters, for Grayson, for every person, for every child that's unnamed right now to be born. They will
Mm.
have someone to look and say, gosh, there was a person named Olivia Pope who they'll read about in college classes because Shonda Rhimes broke the history barrier by making this character called Olivia Pope that will live in eternity. And it's
Mm.
amazing. I celebrate it. I applaud it. And I think it's something that needs to be acknowledged. And I think that my gut tells me that that's a real portrait of Kerry Washington that's going to go somewhere and be on display, maybe at the National Museum of African American History and Culture or somewhere else. And we will be able to go and celebrate and talk about this whole thing called Scandal because it was that iconic because of the time that we were living in. It's amazing. I
LBJ.
celebrated. I loved it. It was so totally out of nowhere. Let's acknowledge that. It was out of nowhere to me. Like not connected to anything, but I get it. I understand it. I celebrate it. And I want to know what y'all think about it.
LBJ, your mom, Tall Delta 55, is calling out that Shonda said that she's the keeping that a mystery regarding the portrait. And that is it is frustrating for her to end the show with a mystery like that. But LBJ, I went to as soon as I saw Tall Delta 55 say that, I started to think immediately exactly what you just said, LBJ, that the National Museum of African American History and Culture was featured so much in the last couple of episodes that it was pretty much. I mean, anyway, so that's a really great guess. That's where
It's a
that
done
portrait
deal.
will end
Plus,
up.
Shonda Rhimes' name is on a full gallery upstairs in the museum. If you've never been,
Yeah.
it's like welcome to the Shonda Rhimes Gallery of Contemporary Culture at the top of the museum. Come to Shonda Rhimes' gallery because she got all the
Yeah.
money to buy it, and it was wonderful. She put the money. I promise you, we will see that portrait in the future in real life.
LBJ, Dan Blakemore said it. It had to be said to save something for Sunday's show. We'll spend more time on this.
Yes,
Everybody, for Sunday's show, our current thinking is to spend time honoring each character. Kind of digging in a little bit on each character on the individual journeys. I'm thinking, LBJ, maybe we could do like superlatives, kind of.
yes, yes,
Wouldn't
yes.
that be good? So we'll think about the right way to really close it out right, guys. But LBJ, this is our actual last recap of a show, of an episode.
Oh my
And
god.
so
We're almost at
LBJ,
2 hours too. It's crazy. We're like 5 minutes away from the 2 hour mark, the longest show ever.
LBJ, there's this wonderful exercise that we do sometimes at my
Oh, I hate
organization.
this stuff. This makes me sad.
We do this sometimes in my organization to close out a meeting. And it's one of those things you do just to see where people's heads are at the end of something. So at the end of a meeting or the end of a project, and everybody just goes around and says one word to qualify what they're feeling in that moment.
Wow.
And I thought it would be fun, LBJ, since we have this whole group in the chat, if everybody could close us out today with one word. One word.
Yes.
One word. And then we could just read them out, LBJ.
We will. Okay, before we get the one, so listen, you all go ahead and type your one word to close out this final Scandalous Scandal recap before we get the Scandal recap, right? And we have to say happy birthday, Janiyah, to Mrs. Creole Davis.
Yay!
And while I'm singing that, we will get the one words in the queue. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Creole Davis. Give me some gumbo jambalaya and etouffee and a praline. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Okay. So that's the birthday song from Mrs. Creole Davis. Happy birthday. Let's get on with the one words. Tashelle says blessed.
Diane Jones says love.
We have Lakeisha sings full.
Ramina's harmony, epic.
Angel HC11 connected.
Kevin Wright, Oglitz.
Shard 90303.
Sad face.
Emoji.
Dan Blakemore, power.
Lakeisha sings music notes.
Rakira has 2 words. Black excellence.
Charlene McKinney. This is making me so sad.
I know.
Lakeisha McKinney. I told you I hate this stuff, Janiyah. You did this to us. Charlene McKinney says legacy.
Matthew Miles says unknown.
EJ Dexter, yes. Nectar.
Mrs. L, impacted.
Inkwell, epic.
Leander Croker, representation. Ooh!
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's good. That's good.
SSI, hopeful.
Lacey Rideout, grateful.
Vinyl Poet Classics, Leon, gratitude.
And Mrs. Creole Davis, privileged. Oh my gosh.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
LBJ, what's your one word, LBJ? What's your one word?
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'll say this, and this is a lot of words. And yes, my eyes. Yeah. Oh, Nola Brooks says monologues. Todd Duffy5 says love. Christine Peel says glad. Grace says contented.
Contented.
So I am congested. While you're contented, I'm congested. And I will say that I'm grateful because, Janiyah, we committed to something epic. Like, we've gone above and beyond.
Oh, boy.
Like, just between the two, like, we've gone above and beyond. Like, we fulfilled dreams. We've done something that was not even on the lists. Nope. The various lists that we had. This was a total science experiment for us. And we are so grateful. I'm grateful for Janiyah for buying into this. When I said, Janiyah, you watch Scandal? Yeah, I watch Scandal. Why don't we do a live show after Scandal? Janiyah was like, okay, LBJ, well, what are we gonna do? I was like, Janiyah, they've got this thing called Google Hangouts on air. Like, we'll do it. It'll be live on YouTube. It'll archive, and we'll make it happen. We've been trying to brand this thing, put backdrops. I done moved, built a house. Janiyah done moved to different states, everything else. Listen, we have done. I done got married, had a baby, everything else. And we've done all this stuff during this thing, and we've always come to you. I've watched from Mexico. Jania's watched from California. We have bootleg rigged this thing to watch from different. I've watched from Cali illegally. She's watched from Cali illegally. We have done this thing for y'all, okay? We want you to know that because we have been committed to just being ourselves for you because we love thriving off of the people that communicate and engage with us. And so I am so grateful for this chance to share my great friend Jania Wright in all of this and all of you who have committed to staying on these 2 hours at my favorite time, 1:11. I love 11s, and who have been so committed to communicating with us, to tweeting and supporting and being connected. And so I'm so grateful for all of you and for all of this that we've been allowed to do.
Yes. And LBJ, listen, I put out this challenge for one word and I have like a million words I want to say. But I think more than anything, I'm feeling, a feeling it's like this moment for me is bittersweet. It's bitter because the show has ended. It's bitter because this wonderful community that we built around this show and doesn't matter what's happening in the week. We know that we're going to have some fun for this hour that we're getting together. And I'm going to miss that. And it's sweet, LBJ, because I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. I'm proud that we did this. I'm proud of the relationships we've made. I'm proud of our friendship, LBJ. I'm proud of you and everything that you've accomplished. I'm proud of your family. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I will say it is amazing how attached to everyone in the chat I feel. Like when we actually saw Normina's harmony on the screen, I was just like, it's so emotional.
I know, it's so crazy.
I know because I feel so connected. It's like these real relationships. So
and you don't even talk back to them in the after show in the comments on YouTube, and I do. And I've been
you couldn't let us close
like
out.
This person said this. You should see what this person said to you. Look at this. They said stop saying LBJ so much. They said she says LBJ way too much. Like, yes, we love all of it. We thank you for it.
LBJ.
Oh, there it is again.
I can't stop. I won't. LBJ, I will say this. You cannot let this show wrap without calling me out one more time on my social media whackness. And I don't appreciate that.
Grandma Jania needs a tutorial on social media. Jania is technically a millennial, y'all. Do you know Jania is a millennial in all of her social media dearth of knowledge that she has? Jania has a grand dearth of knowledge of social media.
I know. And
I submit to you now, give her a tutor. I don't have the time to give it to her, okay? I don't.
One of the departments I lead on a daily basis is IT.
Oh, heck no. Hashtag get her an intern.
Anyway. Thank you all so much. Oh my gosh.
This is it. Like, I feel like with Cliff and Claire, the doorbell has been pushed. We're dancing off into the studio to say goodbye for the last time.
Thank you all so much. But LBJ, wherever there's Dumoulin, we'll be there.
We will be there.
Listen, wherever there's a random bowl of popcorn instead of an actual meal.
Is that real pop? Is that Skinny Pop?
It is Skinny Pop.
I love Skinny Pop. Like, did you add extra salt to it?
I did not.
You need to add a pinch of truffle salt.
Oh, you like salty pop?
No. Just truffle salt is a pinch. That's luxury. You know, I'm all about luxury. Okay. See that, Ralph? I'm all about luxury. Listen, I love y'all.
Now we need to just really quickly pitch hashtag eat with LBJ. Anyway.
So that's where I was going next. So listen, we are going to be letting you all know what's going on with us next.
Absolutely.
Sunday. There are several things that we are working on.
We're going to announce
individually and collectively.
Yes.
So we will announce those things on Sunday or give you some leading information. And we want you to be a part of them and to follow us. All right. So come back Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to
Mhm.
close out this scandalous scandal recap with a scandalous scandal recap. And we will see you then for the very last time for
Oh my
Scandal.
gosh.
I am Larry Brown Jr., joined by my fantastic
Janiyah
friend,
Wright.
Janiyah Wright.
Thank you so much. Signing off, everybody. Thank you so much for this. It's been amazing.
Bye. Bye.